When the COVID-19 vaccine was first hit the market, whether it be Pfizer, Moderna, or Johnson & Johnson, I was hesitant as well I'm sure as many of you were. I basically had no idea what the COVID-19 vaccine was or what it did when it infected your body. My mom was considered immunocompromised, so when they were distributing the COVID-19 vaccines, she was in one of the top or first people to be able to get the vaccine. She was so not hesitant on the debate whether she was getting or not. She was so happy, but yet I was still so hesitant. I had no idea what I wanted. It was my senior year of high school, and I was on a national cheerleading team, and we were competing for our 5th national championship. So I constantly needed to be in practice. I couldn't miss one. So with that being said, many teammates were going in and out of practice, so it was very hard to be successful when alternates were being fill-ins 24/7. So with my mom being considered immunocompromised and me needing to stay in cheer, I started to say, why don't I just trust this vaccine? I had gotten every vaccine before this, so what makes the COVID-19 vaccine different? So I received the vaccine and I resumed back to normal life. It changed my life. I no longer had to worry about affecting my mother, no longer had to worry if I was going to be in practice, and didn't have to wear a mask 24/7. My name is Eliosilis. I go to the University of Oklahoma. I'm a part of Greek life, and I am also on the cheerleading team at the university. So, during my 4 years here, I want my life to be as normal as possible. I don't want COVID-19 affecting everything I do on a day-to-day basis. So there are so many misconceptions about the COVID-19 vaccine that large media outlets have brought to our attention, such as bad and unknown side effects, and also how the vaccine was produced too quickly. But the benefits of this vaccine outweigh the small, little negatives that it brings. After doing my own research within the topic of concerns being brought up by the media, such as the side effects and how it was produced so quickly, the media has created such a false truth. I now know the real truth behind the vaccine, and it is such a false truth that has been created. Due to the false truth, it gave COVID-19 a very bad first impression. But depending on what news outlet or media that you follow, it can skew your opinion one way or the other, depending on which one you look at. Although there has been such a false truth, it is important to focus on how all the other vaccines that we have received yearly or once in our life also have minor side effects. Polio, measles, the flu shot all have the same side effects, such as headache, mild fever, chills, body aches, fatigue, but they're all known to be safe and effective. On the CDC website, there's an article about the percentage of people that got the flu shot in 1 year. The average percent of people that got the flu shot was 59.1%. Even though the flu shot gives you a headache, fever, chills, body aches, it is still considered safe and effective, and the COVID-19 vaccine side effects are the exact same. There's also another article done by FIFARMA that mentions that there's always going to be a chance that somebody's body reacts differently from the next once a new foreign thing is entering the body. The human body is fighting external agents almost every day, and there's always going to be a chance that somebody's body reacts differently than someone else's. So once the body remembers an intruder, every time is re-entered into the body, it is easier to fight off. As a result of this, people no longer have to worry about measles, polio, mumps that were so dangerous and life-threatening to the world at one point in time. Since the COVID-19 vaccine is such a dangerous and life-threatening virus still in the world today, the benefit of receiving this vaccine outweighs the small negative of having side effects for a week after you receive it. On a different note, there's a completely different and compelling side or opinion to this argument of getting vaccinated. People say that the vaccine was created too quickly, and there's also another factor of the false truths and that media platforms and false news outlets have created. Since the vaccine was presented to the public for emergency delivery so quickly, it was perceived that the vaccine was produced in that short 10 months. But the delivery method of mRNA that the COVID-19 vaccine uses is not a brand new process at all. Messenger RNA interacts with a person's mRNA to hopefully protect the person from receiving that virus or disease. None of the common vaccines, such as the flu, polio, measles have used this delivery method, so the public is perceived as a brand new process, something that has never been done before, never been researched, brand new, but it is not. An article called The Tangled History of the mRNA Vaccine mentions that the messenger RNA drew on the work of hundreds of researchers for more than over 30 years. Messenger RNA was discovered in the 1960s, and a suitable delivery method was found in mid-1970s. For decades prior to the COVID-19 vaccine, mRNA vaccines were in the research process to treat or prevent rabies, autoimmune diseases, cardiovascular diseases, and cancer, and so many other more diseases. But the reason that these vaccines, such as the flu, polio, measles, did not use this delivery method was because it is so expensive. So in 2013, when Ebola was present in the world, if it had come into the U.S. and had a massive outbreak, the mRNA vaccine would have been the delivery method that it would have used. But since Ebola never had a huge outbreak in the U.S., there was no commercial development for the vaccine in the United States. So with that being around in 2013 and COVID-19 being around in 2020, that's 7 years that a mRNA vaccine was ready to be given to the public. The onset of COVID-19 in 2020 brought an increased amount of funding that allowed decades of unfunded research of the mRNA vaccine to be quickly put in action and put into a vaccine that is safe and effective to be given to the public. If only news outlets and the media put the correct information out in the first place, there would have been definitely a difference in vaccination rates and the opinion of the public. There are so many false rumors about the vaccine, such as there might be long-term side effects, people with underlying conditions shouldn't get the vaccine, it can alter your DNA, or even you can become infertile, are the other largest false truths that media has given, which are all false. Overall, the country needs to reach herd immunity with COVID-19 in order for day-to-day life to go back to normal. Normal meaning going back to the office for your daily work job, or not going to class on Zoom and not being able to wear masks and not having to wear masks anymore. Hopefully, now knowing the correct truth about the false assumptions of the COVID-19 vaccine, you now know the truth about the side effects and how the vaccine was produced so quickly. To me, getting the country back to normal like it was in 2019 is so important. It is needed for our mental and physical health and also for the country's economy. So please reconsider getting the COVID-19 vaccine if you haven't already.